guys, so in today's video I wanted to talk to you guys about my COVID-19 experience. I can't believe I'm actually making this video. I never thought I'd be making this video. I've contemplated for the past few months whether I should make this video or not, and I decided today, you know what, my experience could help somebody out, and by me not sharing my experience I would probably be doing a disservice to my viewers. So I said, you know what, my experience could help someone out, you know, the things that I did to recover, the symptoms that I experienced. Maybe if I share that experience I could help somebody out. So that is why I'm making today's video, guys. So yeah, we're just gonna get into everything. Basically, I had two major symptoms, the first one being a dry cough and the second one being breathing problems. So let's deal with the first one first, dry cough. And when I say dry cough, guys, I kid you not, my dry cough was so bad that I could not speak without coughing. And to a lot of people this will sound like an exaggeration, but I am literally not exaggerating. Like, I could not even say one word. Like, people would call me on the phone, like family members, and I would kind of try to like hold my breath, if that makes sense, to avoid coughing, because the cough was so bad that every word, literally every word that I spoke, I would cough. That is how bad it was. So that's how you know if you have COVID-19. The first symptom is dry cough, and it's very nagging, continuous, and it's not a cough where it's wet, like a wet cough. Is very, very dry, and your throat would feel kind of sandy a little bit, and it would just be so difficult to talk without coughing. Like, every time I spoke, like, you see how I'm talking to you guys, I can even say full sentences. I can even say the word and or the word you without coughing. That's how bad it was. So that's the first symptom. And the second symptom was breathing problems. For breathing problems, well, I normally have sinus, and when I have sinus I would have, like, you know, I run sometimes, not all the time, sometimes I'll have a runny nose, sometimes that normally affects like my nose and my eye. I'll get some pain here, sometimes a headache here, but I do suffer with migraines also. So sometimes it could be migraine, sometimes it could be sinus. And usually when I have sinus, I get a lot of throat problems naturally, not all the time, but I would get some throat problems. However, how I knew that I had COVID is that when I have sinus, yes, I would have like sometimes I'll have like a throat problem, like you'll feel like a gravel like feeling in your throat. Sometimes I'll have a runny nose, sometimes I'll feel like pain here. And how I knew that the throat symptoms that I was experiencing was more than just sinus is because my throat started to like close up in some instances, and then I would do like, well, I don't want to get into the treatment as yet because that's for closer to the end of the video. But what I would do basically when my throat would start to feel like it was closing in, sometimes I would take a bowl of hot water, put like a drop of peppermint with some onions, like chopped onions. I know it's kind of weird, and I would put my head over with a towel. That would help with the breathing. But yeah, for the most part I had like breathing problems by my throat for like for the first 2 weeks. And when it came down like to the middle of the second week, middle of the second week, closer to the beginning of the third week, I would feel also like, instead of having like my throat close up, I was actually feeling on the right side of my chest, like my lung. I don't know if you'll describe that as your lung, but I would feel like pain on the right side. Not pain as in like a sharp pain, like, you know, like if you have gas in your tummy, you feel like a sharp pain, not that kind of pain. I would literally feel like if the right side of my lung, like when I breathe, like I was having problems. I wouldn't say I was having problems breathing, but every time I breathe, I would feel like if the right side of my chest, which was my lungs, so I would feel like something was on the right side, was going up, down, like moving up, down, up, down, up, down, while I breathe. And it was the most uncomfortable, scary thing I've ever experienced, because I've never experienced something like that. Can you imagine breathing, and every time you, well, at least try to breathe, you're feeling like if something is in your chest, and it felt like my lungs. I kid you not, it felt like my lungs. Like the right side, something moving up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And it was the most annoying thing ever. And it did cause problems breathing. So sometimes I would have issues with my throat. My throat would feel like it closing up. And then on days where that wouldn't happen, I'll feel it like in my lungs and the and also what I noticed when I had COVID is that coming closer to the end of the day, like during the day, I would have the cough, very nagging, and in the night I did have the cough as well. But what was different is during the day I would have the cough, and in the night I would have like the breathing problems. It was when it came closer to the night I would have problems breathing. Like I could not lie down on my back. Also, I don't recommend you lie down on your back in general, because you know you could choke easily that way, even without COVID or just in general. I don't think people should be lying down on their backs. But anyways, yeah, I could not lie down on my back without feeling uncomfortable and issues with breathing. Sometimes I couldn't even lie down on my stomach. Like I didn't even know where to lie down, so I just tried to stay on my side. And yeah, so those were my major symptoms. Dry cough, literally every second I spoke I would cough. It came to the point where I was like, would this be my life now? Because it was that scary. And breathing problems with the throat and the lungs. I would not say that I had a sore throat per se, but because of the amount of times I was coughing, I had that kind of sore throat, not like the bacterial sore throat where you would get like, you see, the thing about it is so hard to explain. It was the sore throat. Basically, if I got a sore throat, it was because of the amount of time I was coughing, not necessarily because of a bacterial infection. Like, you know. Yeah, so those are my symptoms. My mom's symptoms were very different from mine. Hers were what you would consider like the normal flu symptoms. She had like headaches, fever, and the only difference how she knew she had COVID was the top of her nose. She would feel like a tightening, like at the top of her nose, where she felt like she couldn't breathe. And this happened a lot of times, like on several different occasions throughout the week, throughout the month. So that is how she knew that yeah, that is how we knew. Yeah, so those were her symptoms. Hers were more like common, like flu-like symptoms. My own was definitely, you can definitely tell this was something more serious than a regular flu. Okay, so let's get into the treatment and what we did. Okay, so for the treatment, for me, I incorporated both natural and medicinal treatment. So for the natural, I would drink like lemon juice without any sugar. I would squeeze like one lemon, put some water to kind of dilute it, and I would drink that. If you want to put sugar, you can, but I highly recommend not putting sugar, just because like the more natural the better. Sometimes I would also drink ginger, like, you know, ginger tea. If you don't know how to make ginger tea, basically what you do is you grate it. You could grate it or you could like cut it, but hot water in your mug or your kettle or stove, whatever, pour it into the cup with the ginger in it, leave it there for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, and drink it. And please try to drink the ginger tea hot, because hot is best, especially in this circumstance. And sometimes I would also drink garlic. I know, very disgusting, but it works, it helps. Yeah, so for the garlic, you don't have to grate it, you just chop it up. You don't even have to chop it up. You could basically take like 2, 3, 4 cloves of garlic, kind of pound it a little. You don't even have to pound it that much, like twice, and then you throw your hot water over it, let it draw for the same like 5-10 minutes. You can take out some of the cloves and drink it, or you can leave the cloves while you drink. That helped as well. I did also use a decongestive medication, cough drop, and it's called Ticidril. I'll put a picture here. This, guys, I kid you not, this medication literally saved my life. It is I have the exact name. It's called decongestant antitussive expectorant cough medication. I'll put a picture here so you guys can see what it's really for. But basically, if you can get your hands on a cough medication that targets things like bronchitis, sinuses, etc., that will help a great ton, right? So if you can get your hands on something like Tossidrel or anything close to it, that will help a lot. I kid you not, it will help. However, this particular medication, if you can't take it if you're going to be driving, or if you have to stay up for something, you can't take it, because within like 30 minutes of taking this, I slept every time, whether it was during the day, whether it was at night. As soon as I took it, after 30 minutes, I was knocked out. I could not, like, I was knocked out completely. So just keep that in mind if you're going to take a medication like this. No driving, and if you have to stay up, don't take it, right? But yeah, moving on. Well, I mentioned this earlier in the video, like with the breathing problems, sometimes I would hot water, put a drop of peppermint, chop one onion, put my head over with a towel, and when you do this, you don't want, try to be careful because you don't want to burn your head. Put your head forward, you put the towel over, and you try to kind of trap the heat, because you're going to be breathing in all the peppermint, onions, and this is going to help with breathing. And I would highly recommend staying hydrated as much as possible. Drink a lot of water. You don't want to be dehydrated. You don't want your throat to become dry, because especially if you're experiencing a dry cough, it's already dry. You don't want to make it worse, so try to stay hydrated. Also, I noticed when, for a little bit, I wasn't using my, I don't know if this has something to do with it, but I realized for a little bit I was not using, I did not have at the time my Listerine mouthwash. I used the Cool Mint. I didn't have that at the time, but what I noticed is when I actually got it back, when I purchased it and I started back using it, the Listerine Cool Mint, it kind of helped my throat. So keep that in mind. I would also recommend having a really good mouthwash, but in particular I use the Listerine Cool Mint. I don't know if it's because of the mint in it or whatever. It has soothing properties, but you just want to buy things that are good for your throat, because that is one of the ways that COVID can enter your body through your mouth and then through your throat and then by your lungs, and you don't want it to reach the point where it's by your lungs, because it's not nice. It's not a nice feeling. You want to try to, keep it like, you don't want it to pass from here. You want to try to keep it here and get rid of it, right? Basically. And okay, I'm looking down because I wrote out a lot of the treatments. Oh, and that was it. And usually I would take my emergency multivitamin, which is something I take all the time, not just around COVID. I use the emergency multivitamin. I'll leave a picture of it here. I think I have it here to show you guys. This is what it looks like. My Tossidrel is downstairs, so I'll leave a picture here. But this is what the emergency looks like. It comes in like different flavors, and I highly recommend. You need lots of vitamin C. I highly recommend vitamin D. When we went out into the sun, because we barely get sun exposure, but I was like, you know what, I was watching a bunch of videos from doctors, and they were talking about how vitamin D is such an important vitamin that most people lack. And if most people got it, they would not be prone to illnesses, especially this time. So the point that I'm making is I felt so much better after being in the sun for that amount of time. So I highly recommend, don't just pay attention to vitamin C, vitamin C, vitamin C. Please also incorporate vitamin D into your lifestyle. And a lot of doctors say that sunlight is the best method of getting vitamin D. Most times. Yeah, so that is what I did. Okay, so moving on to the aftermath, meaning long COVID. Now at first when I heard about this, I was like, is this even a real thing? And I thought it was like a joke until I actually had long COVID. And basically what long COVID is when you no longer have COVID, but you still have some of like the lingering symptoms. So for me, I had oh my gosh, my brain literally oh yes, right. For me, what I noticed is that even though I had recovered from my cough, I recovered from the breathing issues, and I no longer had COVID, I couldn't eat. Like 2 months after, Oh my god, I totally did not tell you guys the month that I had COVID. So I got COVID in September of last year, September 2021. And by the end of September it went, and like at the beginning of November, December is where you don't have it, but you're still experiencing some of the symptoms. So I did not have my dry cough or breathing problems anymore, thank God. However, I noticed anytime I drank like soda or juice, or even if the water was cold, if I drank anything cold, the dry cough would literally come back. And I know they say when you have COVID, try to stay away from cool things, but this was after the fact, and every time I drank anything cold, whether it be water, juice, soft drink, soda, anything cold, I literally coughed as if I was getting back the dry cough, and I know it felt the exact same way. So I knew that I had to stop drinking that cold substances. So for October and November, I tried to stay away. I cut out all cold drinks completely. I wouldn't say completely, because here or there I would still take it, but I cut it out completely. And then when December came back, I started back drinking some cold drinks, and I didn't have any problem, did not have any issues with coughing or felt like a cough was coming on again. So that's how I knew, like, okay, finally that cough symptom is gone completely and I could drink cool things again. Secondly, I noticed a change. This could be TMI for the guys, so if you don't want to hear about periods or whatever, you can skip. But basically I noticed a change in my period as well. I would have my period for 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days, just regular. Normally the first day would be the heaviest, and then the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth, it kind of spreads out. But now your period is like this short, 2 days, but it's much more heavier. Especially on the first day, my period was so heavy. Like this month, my period came for literally 2 days, and the first day I felt like the period was just like all to the amount of blood that you get for like the 5 or 3 days or 4 days. Like most of it was trying to come out on the first day, which is very scary. But it wasn't anything to be like alarmed about, but it was just so heavy. And then the second day it was very heavy as well. Not as heavy as the first day, but the second day was heavy. And then at the end of the second day, that was it. Nothing else. So that was kind of weird. And what's even weirder is October, November, it was like that, getting it for the 2 days, and then December it went back to normal with the kind of 3 to 4 days. So it's like, okay, my period is getting back to how it used to be. I was wrong, because this month it went back to the post-COVID symptoms. It went back to being 2 days, which is very scary. But you know what, at least I'm healthy and I'm alive, so I'm thankful for that. Also, I forgot to mention, besides having sinus, I am anemic. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you're anemic or if you have sinus, just like me. So I just want to let you guys know everything, so you guys could kind of see, you know, if you are anemic or if you have sinus, how that affects you or affects your symptoms. Or I don't know, but I just want to let you guys know everything, so you could, if you have COVID or if you have friends that have COVID, it could help you out. So I have sinus and I'm also anemic, but for the most part I'm healthy. And also I relied on my natural immunity. So I'm not gonna say the word, because you know YouTube and TikTok and all these other social media platforms be taking down people's videos for saying the word. But so I just relied on my natural immunity for the whole COVID period. I also wear my mask, sanitize. I don't just wear my mask, but I also have like a, oh my god, I should have taken a picture to put in the video, but I have like a shield. It's very thick, but obviously you can see through it. So I have my mask, I wear my mask, and I wear my shield. Or and sometimes if I don't have the shield on, I would wear like the regular surgical mask with the cloth mask above. But I don't recommend the cloth mask, because based on CDC's guidelines, etc., they said that the particles could still penetrate the cloth mask, and I really think that's how I ended up getting COVID. So yeah, if you could get your hands on the KN95 or the 95 KN95 and the 95 mask, I highly recommend. I highly recommend doing your research because there are fake KN95 masks. But I was reading an article where you could tell which ones are real, which ones are not. If I think I'll leave the article below so you could tell the difference. But yeah, I recommend the mask. If you're wearing like a surgical cloth mask, I recommend the shield, wearing a shield over it, because that really helps a lot. And yeah, that is basically, I don't think I have anything else to say. Alright, I talked about everything. Oh, I did not mention, because this might help someone, but my mom's, like, since she got COVID, she has been eating, I don't know if this is like a long symptom or whatever, but she has been eating ice like crazy. I don't know why. I honestly think that could just be her anemia, but yeah, she has been eating ice like crazy. Don't know why. And yeah, I don't know why, but yeah, she has been eating ice like crazy. And but her period has been heavier as well, so she has had the same issue as me, where normally it will be for like a 5-day period. Now it's like a 3-day period, and it's so heavy. So just keep that in mind, that could happen. But it only lasts 3 days. Well, for her it lasts 3 days, for me it lasts 2 days. So it's not like it's a constant thing that's happening. So instead of having a period for 5 days, now you just have it for 2 days, which is, I mean, it's kind of like, I'm not complaining, like that could be a good thing because it's less days, but it's much more heavier. But my period was not painful at all, which I am so grateful for. But hers was very painful, and hers lessened from 5 days to 3 days. So just keep that in mind. If you're a lady, that could happen. COVID could affect your period in that sense. But yeah, I hope this video helped you guys. I was so nervous to film this video, but you know what, I said if this could help somebody out, why not film it and try to share my experience and what I did to recover, and maybe it could help somebody out. And by me not filming or not recording, I would just feel bad. Like, I'll feel like I could have like made a difference in somebody's health or made a difference in somebody's life. I mean, it's not that deep though, but you know, I just feel like I had to share it. So let me know if you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know if you guys got COVID as well and some of your symptoms, because I commented down below, it could help somebody out if they have similar symptoms, and share the treatments that you did. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and stay tuned to my channel because we're going to be doing some fun, really fun, exciting videos I have planned out for you guys. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's just know it's going to be really fun and interesting and funny. So make sure you subscribe, and thank you again for watching. Why am I so cringy?